Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike Max, Patrick Royce, Lou Nanny back with us. Great to have him, and Sid Hartman. Sydney, a lot of sports to talk about right now. Let's just start with the Twins. About the time we thought they might be heading in the right direction, they went down here. They won today in 15 innings. Give us a weekly read on them.
Well, they come close to losing 5 straight. They lost 4 straight, and today they beat Milwaukee in the 15th inning. They had an hour rain delay, and fortunately they won a game. But without a doubt, they got the worst pitching staff in there. Even when they had terrible teams under Tom Kelly, I think they had better pitching than they got right now. Pavano, Terry Ryan told me today, will not be on the staff until the middle of July. Blackburn, he's done nothing. They had Walters, now he's on the disabled list. Diamond is about the only guy, although Laureano pitched great yesterday, was it?
Was it Friday?
Friday, he gave up that one home run.
Yeah, no hitter, and then all of a sudden he's losing the game.
You won't, like Kelly always says, you don't win without pitching, and when they don't pitch, they don't win. I think they're, like Patrick has said several times, their lineup's not bad, but the pitching wins.
Yeah, you can't win without starting pitching. It's not so much the bullpen. The bullpen's been okay, but you can't go out. I've said from the middle of March, when you look in the paper every day, and all the gambling is basically bet, the odds are based on starting pitching. And when you're the underdog every day, you can't beat the odds. You can't beat the odds of being an underdog every day because your part of starting pitching's no good.
So July 31st is a trade deadline and all those things. The Twins are in that precarious position right now. Put your GM hat on. Would you make moves sooner than later? What would you do?
Well, first of all, they don't have many trades in baseball.
They don't have as many as hockey.
We trade 100 guys.
You get guy mad at guy for a bad shift.
Yeah, you're gone. I don't know why they don't have more trades in baseball. I think they'd start trading now. When you're looking to get better, and there's some things you have need of. I used to be on the phone every day to find out if anybody was trading anybody, just to keep up to date with what was going on in case I wanted to make a deal. And we had, the trading deadline goes the first week in March, but we had many trades throughout the year. In fact, they finally had to put a moratorium in because I traded sharply right before Christmas.
I got mad at you.
And now you can't trade at Christmas. But we used to trade all the time.
I got mad I didn't talk to you when you traded Bobby Smith, remember?
Oh, yeah. This is the best. For a whole year, he comes to me, when are you going to get rid of Smith? When are you going to get rid of Smith? He's not playing very well. I said, he's doing fine. No, you got to get rid of him. You got to improve the team. What he didn't know is Bobby Smith had come to me you're going to deny it.
That's not true.
Bobby Smith had come to me and says, either you trade me or I'm leaving. So I finally made the deal. Sid comes up to me and says, how could you trade that guy? And I said,
I never told you
I
said, Bobby
I said, you mean you don't want
your memory is not very good.
I can't get him back now. Sid, I'm sorry. And what am I going to do? I can't get him back.
So you told him to trade Smith, and then you backed away?
Too good.
What happened?
Bobby Smith was a very favorite of my guys. Yeah. This guy used to bring the #1 draft choices out to my house on the river. I don't know for what reason, but he brought Bobby Smith out there.
I wanted to show him how wealthy they could be if they stuck around town.
He brought Bellows out there.
You could buy a home out there. Housley's out there. You never had him.
Yeah.
Right down the street from Sid.
Anyway.
I used to have Sid come and meet our first-round picks for years. He met basically everyone, that we had for many years.
And that was the only time he met him.
Well, yeah, because I was trying to get him to come to the games. Yeah. So if he didn't come to the games, I figured I might as well introduce him to the players.
One player,
yeah.
I came to plenty of games.
You did.
Here's the trouble. You got the Cubs. They can trade Garza. They can trade Dempster. They can maybe trade Soriano. They can maybe trade Soto, the catcher. They got pieces to trade. Twins, Morneau, you can't get anything near what he's worth because they're worried about his injuries. And Caps, who was going to give you anything for Caps? He couldn't pitch again today. He's had some arm trouble. And even if he's pitching well, nobody's going to give you. They don't have any tradable pieces.
So you're down to Span and Willingham.
If Liriano can, no, you're not going to trade Willingham. He's
right.
First year of a 3-year deal.
But I'm just saying that's
you wouldn't get enough for him. Span, you might get something, and maybe Liriano if he has about 2 more good starts, but that's it.
So Louis, let's just say that Liriano's a guy that somebody might want, right?
Why would you?
Do you trade him for just any prospect and take a shot? Because you've given him your shot here.
Well, I would trade him for some young players, that's for sure, and it certainly would be for pitching, because you need pitching. If you look at the need of the club, the biggest need is pitching. If they
Why?
could get some prospects, they would.
Why would you get anything from him?
Well,
been
because
so
he's had three
inconsistent.
straight starts that are pretty good. Texas is desperate for pitching. Toronto is desperate for pitching. They both think they're pretty good. If he gives you a couple more good starts, you might be able to get
Span
something.
has got a very favorable contract.
Yes, that's
then-
why you can trade him.
Huh?
That's why you can trade him.
Yeah.
They thought they had a deal with Washington this offseason. Would have got Lombardozzi's son over here and others.
We've had
Gotta
enough
trade him.
Lombardozzi's.
He's one of the best players they got, Coach.
I'm just telling you, okay? That's what they were talking about. But Liriano would be tempting too, I would think, Patrick, because some pitching coach or some manager can say, I can fix him.
Yeah, but you're just
because he's
getting him.
tempted.
You're getting him if you're Texas to pitch 6 innings every 5th day till the end of the season. Then you let him go. So you're not going to get great, but you might get a pitcher who can pitch for you next year, and then some guy that's younger.
Sure.
But there's nobody there that's going to give you a big. You're not gonna make the AJ Brzezinski
Yeah.
trade.
But if anybody's going to make good deals, Terry Ryan makes good deals. I wouldn't be telling Terry Ryan what to do. The guy has been so successful and so good at his trades.
Yes.
Nobody knows better than him as far as I'm concerned.
Take a break, come back, sports show.
You didn't.
There it is,
Yeah,
JD
they do.
White's. Stop on by if you're going to the ballpark or anywhere else. Say hi to Pat and the gang. Great nighttime dinner. Patrick, your recommendation is high.
Yes, sir. I wanted to say earlier today, you were teasing Sid because he picked the Thunder to win after they won Game 1, and he picked the Heat to win after they won Game 2. I just wanted to say, Maxie, as an old newspaper man like Sid and I are, I've always considered columns to be like waves on the ocean.
Okay. They come and
lap
go?
up, they slap back, and they're gone. Then you
Then
get
you move on,
to the next
and it
one.
doesn't matter what
And
you
the
said
bad
yesterday.
thing is the internet, they keep track of them.
Ah, yeah, back in the day.
They just slap up on the shore and they were gone. You could change your mind the next day. It's hard to get out of that habit.
Just create.
Louis, watching this Tiger Woods thing, he teased us this weekend before he faded off, and the U.S. Open, of course, is a very difficult tournament no matter where it's played at. But what's your take on him? What should people expect from him? Has he just become a decent player and you just have to accept that? Do you think he still has magic left?
I think he's still got magic left, even though he came out today and he had 5 over in the first 6 holes, and that killed him.
Yeah.
But he's had a lot of good rounds lately. He's playing better. He's got to just get more consistent with his putting from what he had been. I think this is the only time I've ever seen him make 2 real bad chips, today and yesterday. This guy usually, he and Phil Mickelson have the best shot
Caught on
game going.
18 yesterday would have
Yeah.
embarrassed me, Louis.
Yeah. But
he hit it.
Yep.
He hit it
that's-
this far and it went sideways.
Usually his short game is so good, and even his wedge is getting in there, and he wasn't getting anywhere up to
his-
the hole. But I still
his
think he'll come
distance-
back with magic.
His distance control
Yeah.
was horrible. But here's the difference in him, Max. He used to be the greatest par putter that ever lived. 10, 12 feet. Had to make the par putt, he'd make it. He doesn't make, even if he makes it, you see him stand over 4-footers now for
Yeah.
a minute. And he used to wouldn't even blink. He'd just go up and wrap them in. And it's. I just think it's being 35 or 6 years old, Louis. Those nerves aren't as good on the putt.
Could be.
That's
Last year,
true.
Sid pointed out they looked distracted. What do
He
you
hasn't
think?
been the same golfer since all that problem happened.
That's what I'm saying. You were the one that pointed that out. Just you
And
looked
I
distracted.
just think that got a lot to do with it. I think his breaking up his marriage and not seeing his kids and all the bad rap he took and all that kind of stuff, I don't think he'll ever be the same.
Do you like the U.S. Open because they're going to make it painful for everybody?
Well, last year I didn't like it last year because the congressional got really soft, and they just killed it. You know, 16 under. This one might be a little over the edge.
Yeah.
When if you make a par, you feel like you're the king of the world. But yeah, it's it's in a lot of ways it's not terribly exciting because nobody's going to make a 3 on a par 5 and win the tournament like in Augusta. But
What I like about the
it's
soccer is that somebody can make a run if they're down. You can go birdie, birdie, birdie. You can't do that here, Louis.
Well, you can. Webb Simpson did on the backside there for a while. He had 3 birdies on the backside. It's so infrequent. It doesn't seem like anybody can put anything together in that kind of golf course like you would like to see in a major tournament. And boy, I don't know if it's that interesting when you're always making bogeys. It is fun to see birdies.
Where it's different, there's a time in the old days you had Ben Hogan, you had Sam Snead,
Yeah.
you had Jack Nicklaus, you had Arnold Palmer, you had maybe 10 great golfers. All of them had a chance to win the tournament.
Trevino.
I don't think you have that today. I mean,
you
maybe you
got
have a
20
lot of good
golfers.
young golfers.
30 great
yeah.
ones. That's the trouble. You got 30 or 40 great ones.
Yeah, try separating yourself from that
Yeah,
pack. Huh?
yeah, you're not going to be as dominant today as those guys were in those days.
Okay, I want to ask you a question
That's what
that I
makes
can't
Tiger
figure
Woods.
out, but I think Patrick and Louis might have an answer. Today was a lousy day. It was kind of rainy and drizzly. But on a really nice summer day, can you honestly sit inside and watch golf?
I can for a major.
The U.S. Open, yeah,
Yeah.
I can watch the U.S. Open. Maybe not next week at the
No.
Travelers in Hartford, Connecticut. With,
So a major tournament you
yeah.
can invest
Yeah.
yourself in and not feel like you're getting cheated.
But if I'm home on a Sunday afternoon, I watch the end of the golf, no matter who's playing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
But I'm a golf fan.
The ratings tell the story. That those golf, U.S. Open, the Masters, those top PGA tournaments have fantastic ratings.
I know.
So that tells the story. People are watching it.
No, I get that. I can't
But the
do it.
weekly in and out on golf is the ratings are
Yeah.
terrible, terrible.
Look,
Yeah, it's
look
four
what's
major-
happened to the LPGA and the
They're
seniors.
terrible.
Way down.
The weekly events.
Yeah.
The
Just the
LPGA is
regular
almost
event.
That's what I
non-existent.
said. Look what's happened to them. They've gone down. The seniors have gone down. The ratings are real bad in both those. It's just
I'll ask you this one. How's the
Different.
senior tour doing?
Senior Tour.
Yeah, it's coming again. How's it doing?
Kavanaugh's got them all. I don't know.
and this is as good as it gets here.
He,
Is it steady or what? I don't even know.
he lets them in for nothing now.
People, yeah.
Yeah. And he's
se-
giving millions of dollars to that charity.
Senior events make their money on the pro-ams.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the
Wednesday,
ticket, huh?
Thursday, and then if the people come out and watch on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're appreciated. But gate receipts don't pay
No.
the bills for senior events.
But the fans have as much fun at the senior event
Oh,
as any.
sure.
You can
He's
get
got
close to
great
the players.
sponsors.
They sign autographs. They'll talk to you. They'll spend time with you. And the senior event they have here is as good as there is in
I
the
think
country.
this is 20 years.
It
I
is
think this
20th year
the
they're
20th
celebrating
year.
already, yeah. What were you gonna say, Sid?
1993.
Well, he has a million great sponsors. They seem to think it pays off for him. So
Yeah.
he makes money on the sponsors. He makes money on the concession. So he must make enough money to keep it going.
Yeah, I just didn't know where it was at right now. If it had peaked and was coming back and steadied, I don't know. Take a break, come back, stay with us. Yeah, stopping by Carousel. You say hi to Bruce Bonine and the whole group. We bought an SUV out there like it so well. We just bought another a couple of weeks ago. Great people, great place. I mentioned, Larry Lejeune, the owner, pretty well.
He's
One
a
of your
great
golf
guy. He
buddies.
runs a great operation. But as an individual, they don't get any better than him.
Hey, Louis, here's a question. You started. So you look at the state of sports in Minnesota right now, and it's not all that good. No one's jumped off the page for a long time now. Can you market yourself at all beyond winning? If you're not winning, can you do anything to jumpstart a crowd or to generate interest?
Well, first of all, if you're the Vikings, you basically don't have to do anything. Everybody
You
loves
open the
them.
door.
They want to watch them, and that's great. But the fact is, you have professional sports in the area, and that is really a marketable product. It doesn't matter whether it's basketball, hockey, football, or baseball. You're starting with a leg up when you're a pro sport. People love to watch pro sport teams, and they only have like 30 hockey teams and basketball teams, and maybe football's got 32. But when you're unique in that area, that's what you're selling, is uniqueness to start with.
Can
Here's
you
your
sell
problem.
star players from other teams, Sid?
Here's your problem.
Okay, here we go.
Chris Wright told me, and I agree with him, he says this market cannot sponsor 4 pro teams unless they win. And I got a couple of friends who are big executives in this town. I had lunch with them some time ago. I think I mentioned this before.
What happened again? They had tickets?
They have tickets,
Yeah.
season tickets. They can't give them away.
For the Wild.
They couldn't give away Timberwolf tickets. They couldn't give away Wild tickets. Baseball they could give away with the new stadium, and the Vikings they could give away. But the Timberwolf and the Gopher football, they couldn't give those away.
Yeah, I think one thing we forget is that we also have those 3 college teams out there hustling up. You know, it's not just having the 4 pro teams,
Yep.
but you got the Gopher hockey team, Gopher basketball team, and Gopher football team trying to do business too.
Yeah. But since 88, that's when the Timberwolves came, I believe it was 87, 88.
Yeah.
You've had all these teams.
Yes.
With the exception of a 7-year period when the North Stars left and the Wild didn't come into being yet. So you're still selling it for 30 years, and you're going to be selling it forever. What's going to happen is you're going to have periods when you're down, when you're not winning.
But everybody's down right
That's
now.
what I'm saying. So that's one of the things that helps each of these teams that are, when they're going to sell tickets. It's not like they're losing to somebody else. They do have an opportunity to still sell. But all teams have their base to start with. And they have a base whether they win or lose. Those teams are going to be selling those people tickets. Then you got to go from there and make the
And
sale.
the Twins base is going to take a big hit next year, and they're in a down cycle. And when they come in to an up cycle again, then the place will be full again. That's just the way life is.
Vikings are down about 15,
Yeah, but
20%.
the new stadium is getting they'll put the pressure on everybody.
Oh, yeah, that's a
pretty
leverage
soon.
deal now, isn't it?
If you want tickets in the new stadium, you're going to have to buy season tickets next year or something.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
But if they didn't have that, they're down too.
Why do you think Gopher football, it's not a big stadium and they don't sell out regularly even for their rivalry games?
Well, 50,000 is a pretty good size.
Yeah, it's not bad. But I mean,
Well,
for
it's the
you,
second biggest stadium in
but
town.
you shouldn't be able to get tickets
Right?
for Wisconsin and Iowa.
Well,
You
yeah.
can.
Well, Wisconsin and Nebraska basically sell the stadium out because of who they are. They are such good schools with their travel parties that they come in and buy tickets. But it's like everything else. They got to start winning. They have to develop a passion that they used to have in the 60s. And they got to get that back where kids and parents want to be Gopher fans, come to see the Gophers and start following the club.
Here's
Never
what's
in
killing them.
Sid's lifetime have the Gophers been so far removed from Wisconsin. Wisconsin's your arch rival.
Yep.
And even when we had Joe Salem here,
Yep.
he beat Wisconsin half the time.
And to your point, they
And,
say we're both bad
you know,
at the same time, right?
Well, Mason beat him half the time. That Wisconsin's beaten you 7 or 8 years in a row,
Well, it's more
for
than that.
God's
I think
sake.
Mason only beat him once.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, this is the worst Gopher
You're right,
football
it's-
has ever
It's
been.
probably like 18-2
Let's
over the
face
last
it.
20 years, Wisconsin.
Let's face the facts.
Okay.
Before these pro teams all came here, the Gophers sold out basketball, the Gophers sold out hockey, they sold out football. The Vikings came to town, and that's when the
Sid?
Gopher football went down, down, down.
Sid, Gopher basketball in 1960 drew about 5,000 a game.
So that was before
Yeah,
any
that was
NBA had
before
come
the
to
team.
town. They only
Yeah,
drawn
well.
5,000.
They didn't sell.
Well, they had maybe 1 year, 2 years, but overall they drew pretty good.
Okay, take a break, come back, stay with us. Visit barabilene.com and find them on Facebook, where Sid is. Probably
You
friendly.
recommend it?
Yeah, good place, good food. What were you saying during the commercial break there?
Pardon me?
You were just saying something during the commercial break and it was pertinent.
I was just saying, I'll repeat again what I said before. People aren't going to keep on buying the season tickets. And let's face the fact, the Wild sell a big portion of the tickets in the Twin City, in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and Minneapolis and the suburbs. Herbie Brooks, many years ago, went to Giel. He wanted to play in the St. Paul Auditorium, play the games in the St. Paul Auditorium.
Listen close now, Louie, because we got to find out if this is true. Go ahead.
And they did a survey, and 70% of the tickets for the Gophers were being sold in Minneapolis and the
Okay,
suburbs.
Louis, is that true? Do you remember this?
And I'll tell you what, it's a task to go over to that from Wayzata
Yeah, but it's a task.
or someplace I have to go
it's
to
a
St.
task
Paul
that
for the
they've-
game.
Sid, it's a task that they've been willing to complete for about 12 years now.
I know.
been a great honeymoon.
when they win.
Louis,
Sid.
do you remember that survey,
Sid
Louis?
still
Well,
doesn't
the
think that
survey's
St.
right.
Paul Arena is going to work.
In fact, he's probably a little high because when the North Stars were in existence, we never had more than 10 or 12% of our season tickets sold are from St. Paul. But that's why I felt very strongly that the Wild would do well, because the people from the Minneapolis side of the river are still going to go to the games, and the people from St. Paul who wouldn't come to our building would go to the games. Plus, the two fastest growing suburbs in the Twin Cities, and they were affluent suburbs, were Woodbury and Egan.
Plus.
So now you
Plus.
have
You're forgetting one thing.
What's that?
They added girls hockey since the
Right.
match starts. We're here, which gives you a whole
These
other
are getting
demographic.
So
Yep.
you've got many more season ticket holders in St. Paul
here's
today.
the other thing,
And you
if
still
you're-
have the people from
Here's
Minneapolis.
the other thing. If you're from Wayzata or Minnetonka or someplace and you hang out there, going to St. Paul's an adventure. You've never been there. You know, now all
That's
of-
right.
Hey,
You've heard about it
this
before.
is a cute
You've
little
never seen
town.
it.
I think St. Paul's a
Cute
great
little
town. And it's not as tough to get to as Sid says because you got great road systems getting in there.
It is.
Yeah.
The only trouble
It
with
takes me 1 hour to go there from the
only
Star
trouble
Tribune.
Yeah, but you
St.
when the
Paul-
traffic
driving.
is at.
The only trouble
shouldn't
with
be
the
driving,
St. Paul
Sid.
is the parking ramps. Whoever built their parking ramps 40 years ago built the worst. They were built for donkeys.
Yes.
Did you ever been in one of them?
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of surface parking.
How do you get out of there after the game?
I have a special way. I can't tell you.
Now you're going to keep them up all night, Louie.
Well, you can do what Sid does and leave after the second period.
You're right.
So you don't remember that survey, though, in particular?
No, he's right. That was the truth. That Herbie was trying to get the team to go over to St. Paul to play some games. That's when they had
Would have
the
been the Civic
Hey,
Center.
Civic
not-
Center at that
Quickly,
time.
NHL draft and the Wild take what? Defenseman?
I think they'll probably get a defenseman at 7, which they are looking for anyway. They can use a defenseman. I think last few years, I was saying they need a centerman. Now they definitely have to improve their defense, and I would like to see them get 2 defensemen, one in the draft, and hopefully get Ryan Suter as a free agent.
All right. There you go. Sydney, final thought?
If they win, they'll draw.
This is a recording. See you next week, everybody.